would sit down, but there's a cam cover on my seat and I can't be asked to move it. Anyway, beverage of the day, orange, lemon and pineapple. Refreshing. Right, the job today, I'll show you it a bit later, is torquing the head bolts on Pinky, the CB400. I bet that's right in your eye line, isn't it? Don't bother me, no. But before I do that, I want to make sure that my torque wrench, they go to 30 foot-pounds, and this torque wrench goes to about 17. But I wanted to just make sure that both torque wrenches, because when I put them together I do torque to the factory spec, are pulling what they should be. The way I'm going to do it, especially with this one, because it's under a 12-inch handle, is we use one of these. It's a baggage weight thingy, and basically what we're going to do is set the torque wrench up in the vise, attach a strap mid handle, usually where the groove is, because the torque point is actually measured on the handle. That's what they're designed for. And then we're going to pull on this and see if it clicks anywhere near what it's set. If not, torque wrench needs adjusting. And let me move this big box. I'm going to do the big one as well, because the big one's going to be the one that does the head bolts. And that's got the adjustment screw in there under the rubber bung, and basically it adjusts the tension on the spring. But this is over 12 inches, I do believe, or if the middle of the handle is over 12 inches we have to make some calculations. So let me get my dick measurer. So sense to that, 12, 15, yeah, we're 15, 16 inches, so we're going to have to make a slight calculation there, which I'll show you later. But same principle, set it sort of midway, which will be about 60 pounds. Set it up in the vise, pull it with this, and you're basically pulling till you're straining your bowels, and see what it clicks off at. And there's a little calculation to make, which will give you the true torque value and tells you whether you want to turn this down or up. I think we need to turn it down, because when I was tightening some bolts the other day, I noticed that they felt effing tight. You know, you sort of get a gut feeling what the torque is after you've done one. Flatulence. And they just felt way too tight, unpleasantly tight. And so that's why I think I need to recalibrate the torque wrenches. But first, we need to go and get El Grande. So there he is, El Mucho Grande. Older than me, that is. Probably older than my uncle. He's been up the top shed for quite a while, because I didn't want a hoofing great massive vise here, but for what we want to do, torque wrenching, it'll be perfect. So Allen mode. I've just fetched a big vise from the top shed. It's quite rusty, but otherwise it's perfect. I suppose I need to find some bolts now. I'm not going to have bolts. Oh look, but I know I'm not going to have bolts that big. didn't have any bolts big enough. I've just had a look in the shed. So I think it's time to send Alan down the shops with £6, because that's all the change he's got. With piss pot lid cam.
Hi everyone, it's Alan here. Jim's let me out in his scooter. The scooter's got a big comfortable seat which sits just perfectly. Here I am following Bob the Builder, who's got some sort of quad bike on the back of a trailer with no number plates or working lights. I think he might be what Jim calls a weekend pikey. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to turn left up here. I hope he doesn't, because he's holding me up. Oh, that's just too bad. Oh well, never mind. Hopefully he'll turn off at the next junction and I can get on with being a street hawk. I do hope he turns off. What do you think, viewers? Do you think he will turn off? I do hope so. By the way, there's no prize. Oh, there he goes. Right, we can now go full power. Here we go through the bends. It's got Michelin City tyres on it and they grip just perfectly. Here I am now, doing 30 miles an hour through the village. Even though the video is speeded up, it looks like I'm going much further. Or even faster, if I get my words right. Don't tell Jim I made a mistake. I need to turn right at the mini island now. So here we go, and I make sure I got across before that bold man in a big pickup. I'm parking here so I don't take up a parking space, and to make sure that everybody sees me, which was just perfect. Here I am going into the shop. I'm looking for the bolt section, but I think he actually keeps them round the back, so I'm looking at the baking parts for Tracy. He's just dealing with a customer who's a complete gobshite, so I'm waiting for him to leave. Here I am now, asking the purveyor of the store to have some bolts please, but he's more interested in the camera on my helmet. I told him it was for dogging, and could he go and get my bolts if he didn't mind. He'll go in a second. He's still discussing my camera. Oh, there he goes. I do hope he brings 3 back, because I've asked for 3. There we are, 3 bolts. He's even fetching me 3 nuts as well, because the nuts are only 20 pence each. Look at that. Jim will be pleased. I do hope he hasn't eaten all the cake. Hello, Alan here again. That was a thrilling ride on the scooter. great through the lanes, and the way it pulls through the power was just perfect. Anyway, we've got the bolts from the hardware emporium and the nuts. I've got a box of washers, which is just great. This drill bit I borrowed off Bernard, and it did the job perfectly. It drilled 3 holes, and I'm really happy. Now I need to mount the vise. Hello, it's Jim. Alan's gone for a cupcake. I am recalibrating my torque wrench now. I've got it set for about 8.5 pounds. So what I do is the torque value of a torque wrench is measured, it's calibrated to the grip, to the handle. So if you grip it anywhere else, you're not getting the correct torquage. So I'm going to put a cable tie around there. I've got my luggage scale, and I'm going to see what this cocks off at, because I've got it set at about 8.5. I know it's going to be, there you go. So I think that popped off at about 13. So I need to back this off all the way, knock it off, and then I've got 2 options, because there should be there's sometimes an adjustment behind this lock nut, but sometimes it's behind this plug here. So I'll just have a quick look and see which one it is. Right, I don't know whether you'll see it, but there is a small like grub screw in there, little Allen head. Did somebody call my name? Not now, Alan. Alan, get back in your hole. Put on the lotion. And what I need to do is just back that off a little bit, and then reset the torque wrench and see if it clicks off. Now it should click off pretty much where it needs to, but we'll soon find out. So I'm just going to adjust that. Okay, I've now adjusted it. So let's see where it goes now. Let's get you there. Perfect. That's pretty much bang on where it should be now, and all it did was screw the screw in, and I'm just going to check it on another setting just to double check. You can do this by say hang the torque wrench on a wheel nut bolt or something like that, and then hang the correct weight on it. So you have to do, you know, your calculations from kilos into foot pounds and stuff like that, but you then hang the correct weight on it and adjust the torque wrench, and you adjust it and the weight will click it, and then you know it's right. But this is just one way of doing it. On a lot of models this end cap comes out and you can adjust the thing in the end. If there's an inspection hole like that, it's adjusted there. So now I'm going to just recheck it on the top torque setting, because that's the critical one. That's only 17 foot-pound. We're halfway up the scale on this with 8, and it was clicking in the right way. And then I'll just try it on the top one just to make sure. Right, I've now got my big tool out. I've set that for 30 foot-pounds, which is what the head bolts are on Pincus Schminkus, and it's actually clicking off at 19. Now I do need to do a calculation because the torque point from the head is over, let's just double check, over 12 inches. Actually we're going to go with 16 inches, so I need to do a calculation. I will show you the calculation. I can't remember it off my head, but I just need to make a note that that's clicking off at 19, not 30. So I need to justificate, and it will give you, when you do this calculation, it will give you the actual torque, but the adjustment is here on the side on this one.
There's no lock-in one on this one, which annoys me sometimes, because sometimes you can actually alter the torque value while you're pulling on it. So we'll take the plug out and we'll just get it roughly where it needs to be. Then I'll do the calculation and make any adjustments. Right, I've just been upstairs and I've worked out the formula. If your torque wrench from the centre to, usually they have the band where the torque is measured, you see there. If that is greater or lesser than 12 inches, there's a formula that you apply. So I set the torque wrench at 30 and I've adjusted it so it clicked 30 or near as damn it on the gauge. Now, one thing that will swing it out, when you're pulling this gauge, you must absolutely be 90 degrees to the torque wrench, or you'll swing it either way. So the formula is below. We pulled 30 pounds, not foot pounds, 30 pounds, because that measures pounds, over 16 inches. So it's 30 times 16, then you divide that by 12 and you'll get your real torque, and that works out, bit of quick maths, at 40. So that means I need to just dial this down a little tickle. Yes! So I've got a little bit more adjustment to do. I've worked it out upstairs that if we get the scale to ping at 22.5, or near as damn it, so if we go 22.5 times 16 divided by 12, that will give us an accurate 30, or near as damn it, far more accurate than it was, because it was well off. So I've got a little bit more fiddlication. Perfect. Now that is calibrated properly. That is now pulling a genuine 30 foot-pounds, which is what I need for the head bolts. So I am well happy. But that is the basic how to recalibrate your torque wrenches, and it works the same on that as well. I'm going to calibrate that one later because that's for the smaller fasteners, and I'll do that one later with the same calculation. So what I've just done now is, you see the special nudge, they're the head bolts, and they've got to be 30 foot-pounds. So I've just done the first, I do it in stages, and I've did the first stage at 10. Now I've just done the second stage at 20. I'm now going to do the third stage at 25, and then I'll do the final stage at 30. Then it's time to put the cams in. So I'm going to crack on with doing that.
Nice. Nice. Yes. Right, so we've nearly got one cam in. I'm just gradually doing the bolts down, and but what I need to do, because this top's been shot blasted, I'm just more for precaution, I'm just chasing these threads out where the cam caps go on, just in case there's any swarf in there, and then basically test fit a bolt, make sure it goes down all the way without resistance and all that lot. So that's what I'm up to. Lovely. Where's Alan with my tea? Going down women's lingerie and footwear. I was going to say kitchen appliances, but some of you would say that was sexist. Oh look, we're going down, look. Here we go. Down we go. Gently does it now. Lovely. Down you go now. So yes, I'm fanning around, but I've had enough now. The cams are in, and I've done a few other little jobs, put some sensors in and stuff like that. But for now, that will do. So it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from Alan. Goodbye. Cupcake. Tea. Tracy. Perfect.
Hey, buttface!